Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with Noel Campana from Critically Endangered Games. Noel is a board game designer on a mission to save the endangered DOUC monkeys. His game, DOUC in Danger, is currently on Kickstarter. Noel, welcome to the binge. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's very exciting to be on the show. From the other side now, it's a great. Thanks.
Oh, thanks. So it's great to have you here. And I think when I see a game like this, I get excited anytime there's things that can contribute back, right, to the world that can really give back. And we're going to get into this in a second. But first, I just want to start off by trying to understand what led you on this whole kind of worldwide adventure. Is this like, do you travel as part of your work, or what got you to start traveling in the first place?
So, no, I was interested in the world, but I was interested in a very special part of the world. So I'm German. I'm living in Germany, and after my studies, I have done my bachelor, and I was ready, and I decided to take some time off and travel as far east as I can. So, and I try to travel by train because it's slow and I can see a lot of the world. And I decided to travel by train as far east as I can. And I went through Russia, Mongolia, China, and I've been in Vietnam. And so I took the train for this ride, and it was a crazy experience. And I knew before the journey, I knew that I don't speak Russian, Mongolian, or Chinese. But I knew that I will cross these countries. And in preparation, I read on the internet what people are doing in a train, because I drove like a local train, the Trans-Siberian Railway.
Yeah.
But I drove in the third class, so this is the last class. I have a bed next to 52 other beds, and I knew I'm there for some trips. I was 5 days in the train, and I read on the internet that the people are playing cards, traditional card games. And so I went on Google and what kind of card games, and I learned the card games. And that was like the beginning of DOUC in Danger, because when I start the journey, I don't understand anything from people in the train. But because I knew what the games are playing, I was integrated in the game. I was integrated in the community on the train, because when you are driving 5 days or 7 days on a train or in a train, it's like your home.
Sure.
But you don't have your own room, so everything is open. And I get in touch with a lot of people, and I can't communicate with them. So the only opportunity to get closer to them was to play a game. And and it was like the perfect journey, and it was like, I think it was one of the best ideas to learn traditional card games. And this was the beginning of DOUC in Danger.
That's super cool. Certainly gaming is a way to bring people together, especially if there's a communication barrier. What did you take as your bachelor's? What was your bachelor's in?
I studied aerospace engineering.
Wow. And are you now in that industry, or kind of where did that go?
Yeah. So I'm still an engineer. But at the moment, I'm full-time, or in the next 23 days, I'm full-time on Kickstarter, because it's like, I don't know, it's like a full-time job as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like to run a campaign, it's crazy. It's so much work.
Yeah.
When people would tell me this, I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago, maybe I choose another decision, because it's a lot of work, but now it's worth it. So we are funded, and it's amazing.
When people I talk to about Kickstarter and are looking to get into it, I say, take whatever you expect your time commitment is going to be and times that by 10. Times it by 10, right? Like, because it is so much work. It is an absolute grind. And no matter what you think you expect, it is way more effort and grueling than you would expect. So, I always applaud people when they go through a campaign, because it is as you said, it's like another job, right? And especially if you have a job, trying to do that on the side, just basically plan to not really have any time off for a good month, right?
Yeah.
So this trip far east and going as east as you could go, was it just something you always wanted to do your whole life, or what made you decide to go east versus maybe go straight south or things like that?
So I've been in North America before, when I was 15 or something like this, and I've been to Southeast Asia before. I never was in Africa before, but I thought, so I just want to take the train, and so it's like the longest train ride in the world. And I also was very interested in Russia, Mongolia, and China, especially in Russia, because so I'm living in the West civilization. I live in the Western world.
Sure.
And so I have no idea what's going on there. I have no idea what's going on in Mongolia. And I was interested. I decided, okay, I want to see what's going on, how the people are. So I just want to make my own experience. And it was, and now now it's 2022, and it's like, it's crazy because you can't do this journey anymore. So
no,
everything is closed. So Russia is like, so you can't go to Russia. Maybe I don't want to Russia anymore, but it's crazy that you can't do this trip now.
Yeah, that's too bad. It's one of those things I'm sure you can look back with fond memories, and maybe there'll be a day again, hopefully sometime soon, when people can do a trip like this. Did you go by train and then come back by train? Like, was it a round trip, or did you fly back, or how did you get back?
So I fly back. Okay. So I had 6 months so I had time for 6 months. And I started the trip in through Russia, and so I thought maybe it's a good idea to do couch surfing in Russia, and it was like a crazy story, but the people there helped me to buy a ticket, because I haven't a ticket before. So I went to the ticket shop, but with my flatmate, so my Russian flatmate, and he helps me to buy the ticket. Yeah, and even I have a native speaker with me. It took, I don't know, 50 minutes or so 50. It was crazy. And then, so after China, I went to Vietnam and Indonesia. And so there was one situation on this journey. First I was like very, it was like such an amazing experience to play, to be connected with people, even if I don't speak the same language, via play. So, and it was the first idea to think, hey, gaming is so much more, it's so much more than playing with your friends or with your family. Yeah. And I think 3 months later, I was in Indonesia in a jungle, and there were so much monkeys, and they tried to steal everything from me. It was like my sunglasses, my cap, my water bottle, and it was such a funny experience. And then I decided, okay, I want to make a card game, a language-independent card game with monkeys. Oh, wow. Yeah, this was 2016. Yeah, and then the next 5 years, I was working more or less. So sometimes more, sometimes less. But after Corona hit, I worked a lot on the game. And I did some research, what kind of monkeys are living on this planet. Yeah. And then, And then when so I want to go back to this trip, because I love this. So you're, for lack of a better word, backpacking, right? But by train, but you've got a backpack and you're carrying everything with you. And by couch surfing, were you staying at hostels, or were you just looking up local? You had friends kind of in these different countries that you'd already kind of prearranged with, or how was that set up? So I sometimes slept in a hostel, but so for example, when I start the trip in Russia, there's a couch surfing website, so it's called couchsurfing.com. And there are some hosts living in Moscow, so living there, and so I slept on a couch in somebody's living room. Yeah. It was so then you get really deep inside what's really going on in this country. Yeah. And did you pick up any of the, like in playing games and so forth, did you pick up any local language at all? Like, were you able to like learn some of the words to kind of get around, or? Yeah, of course. So hello, yes, thank you,
Yeah.
goodbye. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah.
And then so this trip ended in Vietnam, right?
And no, I traveled further to Australia.
Okay, Australia as well. Wow.
Yeah.
But
Australia as well.
the Duke monkeys, that experience was in Vietnam. Is that where that kind of all came together?
Yeah. So my first experience with a lot of monkeys was in Indonesia.
Mm,
On this trip, 2016, I never saw the Dukes. I never
okay.
saw them. So I just saw a lot of monkeys, a lot of species, but not the Dukes. Um, but so first, so my initial idea was to make a game called Monkey. But if I make a game in Germany called Monkey, I have a lot of so it's not so easy because we have some there are some brands in Germany
Mm,
which called Monkey.
got it. Okay.
And yeah, so if the game is successful, I get a lot of trouble.
Mm.
And it was like I was so sad after a lawyer said to me, "Don't call it Monkey because it's not good for you."
This
Oh,
could go bad.
only yeah, and I was so sad. And it was 2019, I think it was 2019. And after that, I was really sad. And and that was the point I started to look on the internet what kind of monkeys are living on our planet. And I Googled monkeys, Southeast Asia, and then I saw the red-chain Duke. So, and the Duke is like, it's crazy. So when I first time I saw them on the internet, they so the different orange colors in the face, blue eyelids, white hands or white arms, white tail, and a Bordeaux red
Hmm.
legs. It's like crazy. I thought, wow, this is beautiful. And even in this moment, I didn't know that this monkey is endangered. So I did more research, and then I read that this monkey is endangered, and I thought, oh, crazy. So I just making a small card game, and but I think with this, the idea was born that I want to give something back,
Yeah.
so that maybe I can do something good with the game, even if I only raise awareness.
Yeah.
But but so now I know that we can do more than only raise awareness, because we had a booth at the Spiel in Essen,
Hmm.
and so we were run over from people because they loved the idea, they loved to want to test the game, and I think we raised 2,200 euros in donation.
Oh wow.
I think it's 2,300 dollars,
Yeah.
and it was crazy. So because we support two NGOs in Vietnam, and we sent the money to them, and it was like in Vietnam, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So and yeah, we can make a small difference
And
now.
you, as I think I was reading somewhere your on I think it's maybe on your page, where they're talking about how few there are. So there's like what, like 1,000 or 1,200 of these
Yeah.
Duke monkeys left in the world. Like that seems.
So yeah. So it's really hard to count, but they are critically endangered,
Yeah.
and there are only 1,000 schools or families left. And usually in a family are 6 to 7, 6 to 8
Mm,
monkeys inside. So it's estimated 6 to 8 thousand animals left on this planet.
wow.
Yeah,
And then what kind
it's
of
not so much.
conservation, like what are they doing to, obviously, it helps when people are able to raise money and go towards a cause. What are they doing in Vietnam to try to help protect the species?
So this year in May, I spent the whole May in Vietnam because after the COVID was over, not over, but
When
Vietnam
travel
opened
opened
this,
up, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
travel opened up, and Vietnam opened this border, and I immediately decided to went to Vietnam because more than 1.5 year or more than 2 years, I was only reading about this monkey, and I saw some pictures. I saw a lot of pictures in the internet, and all the pictures were from the same person. His
Mm,
name is Tuan. And I sent Tuan an email because I sent him an email and said, Tuan, there's so less information about this monkey. You have so many pictures. Can you give me information? And he sent me a message back, and we sent back forth. And now we are friends, and I visit him in Vietnam, and he helped me to travel through the whole Vietnam and visit some amazing places to see the Dukes, because they are so less even in Vietnam, it's the population is so low that it's really hard to find them. And he was so friendly. He helped me with a special permission to went into the jungle with locals who know exactly where the monkeys are living. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And on this trip, I also I also visited 3 NGOs. The first NGO was an endangered primate rescue center. It was in the north. So they tried to help injured monkeys and bring them back into the wild. And another organization is Little Green Guards. This is like these are young volunteers who go into the schools and try to raise awareness for young children.
Oh, okay.
So they said if young children like the monkeys, they don't want to hurt them in the whole life.
Yeah.
And the other organization is like Green Vit, and it's like in the central of Vietnam. And these are try to stop buildings in national forests and do something for the population in this. So it's hard to describe, because one of the biggest population live very close to the 3rd biggest city of Vietnam. It's called Da Nang. And the city is getting bigger, and they try to build hotels and houses inside this national park, because it's very beautiful there. I've been there, and there's clear water, which is not really normal for the South Chinese Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So the water is clear, it's beautiful, it's so warm, and so in this area the Dukes are living, and they try to build hotels there for tourists. And Green Vit tried to stop them.
Yeah. Have they like created like a sanctuary? Like, do they have parts of the country or countryside that they've kind of cordoned off to say, look, this is a protected area. There's not allowed to be any development here or anything like that?
So in this place, yes, because so the Green Vit, these NGO are making great progress with the government to say, okay, this one is because it's like, I don't know the English word, but it's an island, but not a real island.
Okay.
It's like connected with the mainland on one point, and this point is the city. So the monkeys cannot leave this place, and so this one is it's called Sontra National Park.
Okay.
And this one is protected. It's really good for the Dukes there, but so hotels are still
growing.
It's still in development. Yeah.
Is there a risk of poachers? Like, is this monkey poached a lot as well?
Yeah. That's the main risk in Vietnam. Is the poachers. So not all Vietnamese are poachers. No, don't. But in some regions, even in smaller villages, it's normal to go into the forest and bring something.
Yeah. Are they hunting it for food? I guess then is that what they?
For food, traditional medicine, illegal hunting, illegal trade.
Yeah.
It's like this. So food, trade, and traditional medicine. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So all these things are also inside the game. So all the information we made or we read, we put everything in the game. So you can be a poacher in the game, you can be a ranger in the game, you can be a tourist in the game and went to a nice resort if you want. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about the game here. So, I mean, congratulations first on your funding. So you're already at, looks like, I'll put this in Canadian dollars. It's the only way I can see it. But you've doubled your goal, more than doubled your goal. You're at almost 25,000, 287 backers. You still got 22 days to go. So that's a good start to your campaign. I'm sure you guys are very, very happy with that. Can you talk us through kind of how you play this game? So DOUC in Danger, it's a card game. Walk us through how you play this game.
Okay, so it's a very unusual trick-taking game. So you're not trying to make the trick. So in this game, you are one of 3 roles. So you can be the poacher. You can bring monkeys in danger. You can be the ranger. As a ranger, you have to save the monkeys. Or as a tourist, you can decide which one you want to support. Do you want to support the ranger or the poacher? You can bring in monkeys or you can save monkeys. And so the game is very dynamic because there's no turn order. We play all simultaneously, and we play a day phase and a night phase, day phase, night phase, day phase, night phase until the game is over. But in the day phase, the poacher starts putting a Duke in danger. So he chooses from his hand to place a monkey in the middle of the table. It's like the danger zone.
Mm-hmm.
And now the ranger has to save them with a higher number in the same color, or each trump. And the ranger has to save them. If the ranger cannot save the Duke in the middle, in the danger zone, it's like a minus point. So, and the person with the least amount of minus points after 3 rounds wins. Yeah, but in the night, so when the day phase is over, so people get new hand cards again, and we give our role to our left neighbor. So we change roles each day. So each round we change our role. So you are the poacher, the ranger, and the tourist, and you change it all the time. So that means you have always to adapt your strategy.
That's super.
Because each role give you each role have a special abilities, so you can.
And do you feel guilty when you're the poacher when you play that role?
Yeah, this is crazy. especially on Essensspiel, it was very, very funny to see how people play the game, because in this game you have to be a bad guy sometimes, but most of the time you are a bad person. So sometimes you are a bad tourist, so most of the time you are a bad poacher, but it's like the real world. So it's like even we in Germany are bad to animals, not only in Germany, also in Southeast Asia or in different parts of the world, because so not all the plastic trash we build here we send over, and it's like the real world. So that's why I also say it's like a real life game.
Yeah. And then you've got some cool, I'm not sure if they're stretch goals or they're you have this Kickstarter exclusive. Can you talk a little bit about, like, there's a jungle game board and like there's a nighttime board and a day board. So how do they come into play? And then with like you got these lost tokens and so forth. Can you talk a little bit about those elements as well?
Yeah, cool, sure. So DOUC in Danger, what is really special about DOUC in Danger is like a modular game. So we have danger levels, which is a model you can add to your game and make your game even more exciting. And it sometimes makes harder to save the dukes. So the first danger level is like the foundation of the game. It's like the core mechanic. The second danger level adds a new mechanic for push your luck and memory. The third level adds like take that element inside the game. And you can mix and match all different modules. And in the Ranger Pledge, just like the Kickstarter exclusive, there are 6 different levels. And some of these boards are parts of these levels. And it's DOUC in Danger is very beginner friendly through level 1. You can play it. We also play it with children 6+ or 7+. But if you play in level 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, it's like also a very good game for advanced players, because it's a lot of strategic depth inside the game. You have a lot of decisions you can make. And especially in the Ranger Pledge, you have lots of different roles. You have not only the poacher, the tourist, and the ranger. You have also like the animal trader, the veterinarian, and each role has a special ability. So which you can use. You don't have to use, but you can use. And or you have Tom, the animal ambassador, if you want.
So if somebody wants these different modules, so there's the tourist, there's the local, and then there's the ranger, which is kind of like the all-in package, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then is there additional kind of add-ons? I know you've got like stretch goals and things like that. Is there, even if you get the ranger level, is there more things that you can do as well? Like, say somebody really wants to help out, right? And they want to, help the Dukes and, even go beyond just getting the game. What else can they do as part of this?
So we have, as an add-on, we have another game. So we also printed this game for the Essensspiel. We have a small, we printed a small edition for Essensspiel, but it's called DOUC Kids. It's like a kids version. It's not a kids version of this game. It's a standalone game.
Yep.
But it's a very, very nice game also for us, so for our age. But you can take this as well if you want, because it's like you play memory. So you have the jungle, and if it's your turn, you have to reveal 2 cards, but there you don't need to find a match. So we play cooperative, so everyone play together. So we are a ranger team, and we have to find all the traps inside the jungle. But we have to be careful. But if we reveal a trap and a DOUC, it's very bad because the DOUC is caught. But we have to find a trap and a ranger inside the jungle, and you have to combine. We can talk about it, and it's like it's a different game, but it's like for ages 4+, and it was like, I think we put it for Essen because we decided maybe it's very nice to have a small game, so especially for children with us. Yeah, and this we put it as an add-on, and and if you want, I think this is the only add-on we have. Yeah.
And then, I mean, this is your first Kickstarter. What are some of what's the one biggest learning you've had kind of going into this process on just the whole process of doing the Kickstarter? Would there be any advice you would offer to other people who are just starting out themselves, maybe looking to do their own Kickstarter?
Yeah, so I would say don't waste too much time to make your campaign 100%. Sometimes 80% on the design perspective is enough, because the most important part is to do marketing.
Yeah.
So I would say, okay, we designed the campaign, but I would say our campaign is so beautiful. I think it's everything you need in this campaign. Even if you don't like the game, you would say, okay, everything I need, I can read it here. It's beautiful designed. It looks awesome. But if you are on position 100, so it doesn't matter. Nobody will see it. And this is what I would say. This is the hardest part of. So for me, so now we are not in the top 10. We are not in the 20. We are not in the top 30. It's unfortunately not. And if I would change something, I would wait, and I would make more marketing before. I would try to get more subscribers on the preview page.
Yeah.
So prepare your preview page as early as you can, because your campaign behind the early page can be shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. So you have your hero shot of your game.
Yeah.
And people can click subscribe, and this is important. And yeah,
I actually did a TikTok on that where I was talking about a hack, quite frankly, that I do for Kickstarter campaigns, which is you need to get that thumbnail as fast as possible, right? You need that preview link as fast as possible. You can't get that preview link until you've actually built a Kickstarter page. Yeah. The reality is once you get the preview link, people can't even see the page you've built. Kickstarter can see that, and they need to have confidence that it's an actual page before they'll give you the link. But I always go in and just create a fake page. I put as many assets as I can in there. I'll do like me speaking to the camera to create a video. So there's a video there because they want to see a video. They want to see an animated GIF. They want to see a paragraph story, and then they want to see some game imagery. You can mock all that up, get that up as fast as possible, submit it to them. Usually they'll approve it. Pick a very low target, like $1,000 as your pledge level. You can change that later, but it's enough just to get that preview link. Once you have that preview link, you can promote, get your signups, and then behind the scenes, slowly and methodically update that actual Kickstarter page to the actual imagery and the actual story you want to tell. So it's good that great minds think alike.
So it's true. Everything you said, it's true.
Yeah.
And this is the most important part. To start with, I don't know. It's really hard to say, but maybe 1,000 people and on your preview page. It's because so I think we had 500 and we have 350 people on our email list. Yeah. So in total we have 700 to 800 people, and I would say it was not enough. So we are funded in 2 hours and 22 minutes. It's really fast. Yeah. So, but with us, there were more campaigns are coming to the page to Kickstarter on this day, and they had a way bigger crowd than we had.
Sometimes you get the multiplier effect as well. Crowdfunding nerds who have a great podcast. Anybody that's interested in specifically the Kickstarter part of board games, they should check out that podcast. It's great. And they've got an actual tool. If you go on their Facebook page that you can download, and that tool will actually help you project based on how many pre-signups you have, what your ad budget is, what kind of expectation you should have in terms of the output, right? And I think it's somewhere around like 15 to 17% conversion from those pre-signups that you can expect. So you can do the math to say, okay, what reasonably do I think I can do based on where I'm going in? Is it enough? If not, then okay, push back the launch date and keep doing that pre-build. So this is your first game. Right. Are you now getting into the gaming industry, like as a publisher? Is this something you're going to continue on with, or is it kind of you've done your game, you got it out of your system, and you're moving on?
So at the moment, I have no idea. So through the whole process, I had so many ideas for a new game, and also for a new species I would love to raise awareness for, because I always I not only saw on this trip, I saw more than one endangered species, and I would love to do another game. But at the moment, my whole focus is on the Dukes.
Yeah.
Because, I think they deserved way more attention than they get the last 3 years. And
Yeah, fair enough.
At the moment, I'm full with the Dukes. I think next year I will go to Vietnam again and see what people are doing with our money. Yeah,
that's good to get the follow-up to say, okay, we've donated the funds and let's see how it's being put to work. If there's anybody that wants to follow this campaign, I am going to put a link in the show notes. If they want to go to Kickstarter and just search for it, DOUC is spelled D-O-U-C. All right, so if you're doing a search, it's D-O-U-C, DOUC in Danger, to find this campaign. Noel, I wish you all the best, man. I can't wait to see how much you guys raise. It's such a great cause. Kudos to you for that, and what an adventure and a story to tell, my friend.
Thank you very much, and thanks a lot to having me here. It's like a great experience. Thank you.
No worries. You take care. Cheers.
Cheers.
This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.